Foundation Radio is brought to you today by the 10th Ward Barbershop, a full-service barbershop offering high-quality haircuts, beard trims, and hot shaves. 10th Ward Barbershop proudly serves the historic Lawrenceville, 10th Ward, and surrounding Pittsburgh areas. I frequent the 10th Ward Barbershop when I swing through the area, and I love Ryan Kane's laser-sharp precision on both my hair and my beard. But you don't have to take my word for it. WWE superstars Finn Balor and Corey Graves frequent 10th Ward Barbershop for their hair and beard needs. The team at 10th Ward accepts walk-ins, and they're fully staffed, but schedules fill up quickly. So the best way to see them is to make an appointment at 10thwardbarbershop.com. That's 10thwardbarbershop.com. And while you're there, make sure you stop and pick up some Silk Panther hair products to keep that hair looking fresh. Schedule your appointment today to see Kane, Jordan, and the rest of the team at 10th Ward Barbershop, and we thank them for sponsoring the program. Peace World, and welcome to a very special episode of Foundation Radio for Bodyslam.net. My name is Adam Barnard. Thank you so much for joining me today. My guest on the program is TNA Superstar Santana. How are you, sir? Thank you so much for joining the show.
I'm doing great, man. Just like I said, just got back from the gym. My mind is good. Body is good. Had a good weekend. I'm ready to go.
That's wonderful to hear. And like I said, I can see you getting swole up here in the shoulder, so it's wonderful. I'm working on it, man. I'm getting there. But wanted to thank you again for your time. I wanted to talk to you first about rejoining TNA and what it meant for you to come back into the company. So talk to me about that.
Man, it's been a roller coaster to say the least, man. But it's on a high right now. It's on a high. It was definitely a great moment coming back at Rebellion in Vegas. And working with Steve. Steve is, I mean, what more can be said, man? He's an awesome wrestler, awesome human being as I've gotten to know him more. It's been awesome, man. Like being back and just being back in one of the best locker rooms in wrestling, honestly. Like it was, I remember back during my first run in 2017, I realized that, man, like, everyone is so united here. Everyone has a common goal here. Everyone has a great working relationship with each other. So to see that hasn't faltered, that hasn't, left the locker room is pretty awesome. And, man, so much has been going on. So much has happened. I worked with Steve coming in and had a few matches after that. And now I've been going head to head with the whole system. And they're a bunch of punks and, But other than that, man, it's been awesome being back, and I look forward to being part of the constant growth of the company as a whole, and just being able to continue to grow myself. So it's been awesome.
That's amazing. I had a chance to check out Immersed, which is the documentary that TNA created about your return. It's absolutely fantastic. It's really well done. If you haven't seen it, please go out of your way to take a look at it. It's an excellent watch. What did that mean for you? And you gave a lot of praise also to Steve MACLIN as well during that documentary. But I wanted to talk about your story and your kind of road to where you are now. How much did that mean to you to be able to tell your story in a true way without any restrictions or any boundaries? What did that mean for you?
It meant a lot, man. Like if you followed me throughout the years, you know how like I could be very private about certain things, and I'm very guarded and very protective of myself. But I felt like it was time to be open. And one thing that I've learned throughout my recovery journey and just my journey in general is that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to open up. It's okay to just be honest, because you never know who you're helping with your story, right? And I just felt like I needed people to understand why I made certain decisions and why I am where I am today, because it was a process, and I felt like that process needed to be shared, and And man, like when I opened up, when I first did the Chris Van Vliet interview, that was like the first time that I really opened up about a lot of things. And um, after that, man, I felt like it was a constant upward, thing, because people weren't used to hearing me open up like that, and
Yeah.
and I think it's meant a lot, and it's meant a lot to a lot of people as far as what I've been told, and yeah, and I think it's just awesome that I get to do that, especially with TNA, man. And they allowed me to, also tell my story and tell my process of getting back, and yeah, man, and it's been quite the journey, man. Like
That's good.
I'm excited, and I was asked recently, like, do you regret anything? Do you look back and say, man, I wish I would have done something different? Not at all. I felt like everything happened the way it needed to happen, um, because it made me who I am today. And today I'm like the best version of myself. So
Yeah.
I'm thankful.
That's wonderful to hear. And I think sometimes it's hard for folks who aren't in recovery like us to kind of grasp, right? Like sharing
Yeah.
these really intimate things about ourselves and opening up in the way that we do. It's very difficult, especially when you're so used to being guarded and protecting this giant secret you have. So I just wanted to thank you for being so honest and raw in that documentary, especially again for folks in recovery. Like it's always wonderful to see people in positions, in public who are honest and truthful and open about it. About, again, going into your recovery, what does your recovery look like? Do you, are you still in meetings? Are you still going, following the 12 steps? And what do you do on a day-to-day basis to maintain that sobriety?
Like one thing I was going to say was we learn in recovery that the the way that we maintain our sobriety and what helps us is giving away the gift that was so freely given to us. And that's one thing that I truly I believe in, and I try to practice every day. Like that's why that was another reason why I decided to open up and tell my story, because I feel like um, if I could help just one person, me helping that one person is helping me, you know. And yeah, and as far as my process, I mean, every day, like for anyone that's gone through the rehab process and who has been through that and is in recovery, you know that at least for my observation of being in rehab for 30 days, they break you down and build you up.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
when I say break you down, they break you down, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they build you up with this routine. And that routine is so important because that routine, when you leave there, is what's going to allow you to maintain your sobriety. And they're so honest with you. They tell you, listen, in a room of 20, 30 people, one person's going to stay sober.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
sure you've heard that. And when I
Yep.
heard that the first time, I was like, best believe I'm going to be that one person. You know what I
That's
mean?
exactly right. It ain't
Yeah.
gonna be me. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
be a part of
No.
that big number. Yeah, that's it. That ain't me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the processes is maintaining that routine. I still wake up at the same time every morning. I write in my gratitude journal. I pretty much try my absolute best to maintain that routine and also incorporating real life, because
Yep.
life happens, right? We're dads. We have a bunch of other things that are going on, but at the same time too is like we learn that our sobriety comes first, right?
Right.
Because if we're not sober, we're not able to be the very best for what we need to be, right? So,
Yep.
thankfully, I have amazing support from my family, and they know the process. I come from a family who also have addicts, and thankfully, they all understand and know the process, and
Yeah.
and they tell me whatever you need to do, and
Yeah.
yeah, so I still go to meetings. I go once a month. Um, in the beginning, I was going when I first got out, I was doing every 2 a week. And
Mm-hmm.
then
Yep.
I laid it back and I started going once a month to celebrate my month of sobriety. And actually, I got to go next week for my 18 months of
Nice.
sobriety. So
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, so for me is continuing to give that gift away, maintaining my routines, and being conscious of that voice that's so uh, cunning and baffling, like they say, right? And that
Yep.
voice is constantly going, but being conscious of it and having that strength to say like, "Yo, not today." You know what I
Yep.
mean? And that's another thing too, is that I don't overwhelm myself with the idea of being sober for the rest of my life, because that's
Right.
just not feasible, right? And
Yeah. Yeah.
it's more of like, yo, just for today, you know.
Yep.
Today I'm not gonna drink and do drugs, and then the next day and the next day, and as you
Yep.
know, it builds up, and you start to build time. But yeah, man, like I that's my process.
As well as my dear friend Brandon Novak from the recovery spaces says, give me one more day and then we can talk.
Yeah,
So I want to talk to
exactly.
you also about, you've been here, you've been now, it's coming up on a year actually, I think within this week, from your ACL injury.
Yep.
And I wanted to talk to you about that. And I guess also too, stepping back into the TNA ring post
Hmm.
injury and post recovery. Was there a moment where you were nervous, like, oh man, like I'm kind of afraid of what could happen, like maybe this will be re-aggravated? What was the thought going through your mind as you were stepping back into the ring for the first time after that injury?
Um, Definitely nervous. Because like, so when I got cleared to start training in the ring was May, and I came back to wrestling in August, right? So
Hmm.
uh, once my surgeon was like, "Yo, you're cleared to get back in the ring," the next day I was back in the ring, because I knew I didn't. I told myself I didn't want to come back and be a shell of myself, you know.
Right.
And I was like, I'm gonna bust my ass in the ring every day until it's time to get back. And thankfully I did that, right? So thankfully I was already on the process of learning how to trust my knee and working around certain things, and getting back in ring shape, because you could do all the cardio on a treadmill or on a bike you want, but it does not equate to being in the ring.
Right.
So I knew that I had to get back in the ring and get back in ring shape, and just get my footing again, you know. So, but even then, like, I had a few months to train and get used to things. I came back and I was still like, oh man, you know, I was very calculated with every step that I made, you know, but also
Yeah.
trying to keep in my head, like, I have to do my best to break that fear, you know.
Yeah.
And the way my process was to break through that was constantly working,
Hmm.
constantly being in the ring, constantly having matches, so that I could uh, continue getting used to, you know, what I have. And then also speaking with my surgeon, who is the main surgeon for the Eagles and the Mets. So he's
Oh,
like a
okay.
sports, yeah, he's sports medicine
Yeah.
doctor. So he told me straight up, he was like, that first year is your process of like trusting yourself again,
Right.
right? So you're gonna notice, like, you're gonna have fear. You're going to make very calculated movements. You're learning how to trust yourself again. But that year after, it's a wrap, because you've already like gained that trust. And I
Yeah.
feel like, and I honestly feel like that. I'd say like within the last month or two, I've noticed with my work how comfortable I feel, how much more confident I feel. And yeah, it's been amazing. Just the whole process, man. I've been enjoying
Yeah.
everything. Like it's been an awesome, you know, process in general.
That's amazing, man. I'm glad to hear you're back up and up to speed and backed up to almost 100%. I'm hopeful. I wanted to first,
Yeah.
before we get into the emergence question and talk about some of the events that are coming up. I know that you're a girl dad. I am also a girl dad.
Yep.
What is the coolest part about being a girl dad for you? And then also, who is your favorite princess to dress up as during obviously tea party time? Because I know full well you do that as well. So.
I have. So my favorite my favorite thing, honestly, is, man, she's growing so fast, right? My daughter's 10 years old. She just turned 10 years old.
Wow. Wow.
Um, but yeah, and time flies, man, as you know. But
Yeah.
just watching her, just discover life in general every day. She's such a curious kid, and she asks so many questions. And just as she's gotten older, I feel like every year she's realizing something different, you know. And I've always been one to be very open with my daughter as far as like constantly communicating with her, constantly, you know, asking her questions, and maintaining that open line of communication, which I feel is important, especially for girl dads. But yeah, I think my favorite thing is just watching her knowledge expand, watching her realize, you know, how big the world is. Yeah, man, it's a beautiful thing, man. And like how observant she is of everything. Like it's insane. Like if I do something different one day, she picks up on it really quick. And she's so like protective of me, you know, especially since I've been in recovery. Like, you know, unfortunately she saw a lot of things when I was, you know, in active addiction. And also, like I said, I've always had that open line of communication with her. So the day before I left to rehab, I sat her down and I explained things as best as I could, you know, for her to try to understand. And, you know, now is like, she's so protective of this new dad, you know, and she's like, every time I go out or, you know, I go to the gym or I'm leaving the house for anything, she's like, where are you going? Who are you going to be with? Are they a good person? You know, she tells me, make good choices. And I'm like, all right, Mom.
Yeah, like, right. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, all right. Who's the parent?
Yeah. Well, over.
Yeah. No, but it's amazing, man. And like I love being a dad in general. Like it's God's greatest gift to me, you know. And, you know, like I've shared before, she saved my life, you know.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for her writing that Christmas list and what, like, I wouldn't have made the changes that I've made. So I'm thankful.
That's wonderful. And I will tell you that my favorite princess to dress up as is currently Princess Elsa. So we had a few, we had a few Moana moments and we had a few Cinderellas, but you know, tea parties are always top tier. So before I let you go, and I want to say thank you again for your time today. I want to talk about briefly talk about Emergence, which is coming up August 30th and 31st from Old Forester's Paris Town Hall in Louisville, Kentucky. What can we expect from Santana at this event?
I mean, I'm obviously going to be a part of it, and I'm going to be a part of it in a big way, and just continue watching, you know, in the weeks leading up to the event. You know, this Thursday and next Thursday on Impact, things are playing out very well, and it's going to be very exciting. And also, you know, you got the hour-long Ironman match with Nick and Josh, which is going to be insane. You know, two of the best wrestlers in the world. And then you got Ultimate X, which is going to also be insane. You know, all the guys in that is, you know, TNA is on an upward trajectory, man. And I'm glad to be a part of it. And I can't wait to have everyone witness the greatness that's coming out of it, man.
Yep. I'm excited to see you back in TNA. I'm excited to see where you go, and I'm excited to see that trajectory for you as well with the company. Santana, I want to thank you again so much for your time. I really appreciate it. And I look forward to catching up again soon.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Foundation Radio is hosted, recorded, and produced by Adam Barnard. Additional narration and production is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krepps. Our mixing and engineering was done by Carl Pannell. Our intro and outro music is performed by Dumb Ugly. Additional musical accompaniment is performed and produced by Enrichment. Our cover art photography was done by Dylan Eddinger. Follow Adam on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at This Is Goober, and follow the show on Twitter, again, not calling it X, at FND Radio Pod. Find the entire show archive at foundationradio.net. This has been a Butts Carlton Media production, Butts Carlton, proprietor.
That doesn't work for me, brother. Peace, girl!